Notes from my November 2024 reading of The Imposter's War by Mark Arsenault. I'm filming this Wednesday, 20 November 2024, and these are my book and reading notes from my November 2024 reading of a book about press coverage in the United States of America during World War I, specifically in relation to a male journalist that went by the name John Revelstoke Rathom. The book is The Imposter's War, the Press, Propaganda, and the Newsman Who Battled for the Minds of America by Mark Arsenault. April 2022, Pegasus Books edition, hardcover, ISBN in the video description. I started the book on Friday, 15 November 2024, and finished the book on Tuesday, 19 November 2024. It's 330 pages. It took me 5 days. I read 20 pages Friday, 70 pages Saturday, 50 pages Sunday, 100 pages Monday, and 80 pages Tuesday. It was a public library copy, is a public library copy. It was on the shelves in the nonfiction wars section. And this is one of the third of three, along with Hiroshima by John Hershey, and then The Perfect Horse by Elizabeth Nutts or something like that. So I finished all three. Woo! Okay. So book notes, including construction and design. There were persistent occasional typos, including misspelled words, wrong words, duplicate words, and missing words. And sometimes there were multiple on one page. So it was like a weird, it detracted when I noticed them, but like, it wasn't, it interrupted the flow of reading as opposed to like, there's a typo. So a different kind of like uptake mode. The pages are larger, medium font, 1 to 1.25 spacing. There were a fair amount of breaks in paragraph. Block quotes were appropriately formatted. And then there were chapters. Sometimes they'd have, you know, the place, date, that kind of stuff. Chapter, and then title of the chapter. And there were pictures. Yes, there were visuals. There's a section with visuals. Parts of the book were included, not quite different parts, but like, well, depending, the parts were sometimes like there's a chapter and it's like part 1, part 2, part 3, that kind of thing. That was it at the chapter as well. And there we go. It was I read it kind of, I placed it down as a Reddit reading notes. So essentially it's about this guy that went by John Revelstoke Rathom, and the author puts forth his idea of his hypothesis, his thesis, that John Revelstoke Rathom was really a Solomon, a Jewish man from Australia who immigrated to the United States of America to fight the Germans via the American press. How do I feel about John Revelstoke Rathom? Well, I'm ethnically German. How do I feel about the author, Mark Arsenault? Well, I am ethnically German. Should I introduce myself, me, Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, as ethnically German at the beginning of each of my YouTube videos? My last name, my family name, my surname, Leonhardi, which means brave and hardy lion, is ethnically German. I will be keeping it as my surname and the surname of all my offspring to eternity and beyond. Not sure if my soulmates want it as their last name. Need in-person and public confirmation of that, preferably including published confirmation. So then, in the eyes of John Revelstoke Rathom and the author Mark Arsenault, my soulmates taking my last name is synonymous with the rise of the Third Reich. Is that really what they're pushing here? Good to know. I previously did not know I came from a Heil Hitler family. My family came to America like a century before World War II. So, that doesn't quite work, bud. Should that be on my tombstone? Thank you to the publisher Pegasus Books for publishing this book. I will not ever be publishing with you, or I will not be, yeah. Not all of us can afford to be as ignorant as the author. So there we go. Yes, so it really gets into giddy mode by the end. So let's go through some of the things I've flagged. All right, page 2. Okay, bad guys, World War I. Bad guys were Austria, Hungary, and Germany, and good guys, United States of America, entered late, kind of like World War II. They kind of like sat at the back and was like, we're just going to say we're the best, and enter late, multiple years after everybody else. So the good guys for World War I, who were there from the beginning, consistent performers, defenders, England, France, and Russia. All right, page 26 says Royal Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary married for love, which was rare. It's still rare, right? It's mostly for publicity, right? These days. But that's like high-profile romances in general, not just the royal family. Page 47. It's a quote, going viral in 1915 meant that your words properly credited to you were rolling off printing presses in other cities across the country, unquote. Properly attributed words. What? 1950? Man, America has gone backwards. That's true. All right. Getting older or time progressing is not synonymous with attribution progress. Okay. Page 63. Oh, he claims Rathom was an imposter. And I was like, so if somebody competes under a name in sports other than their own, they're an imposter too. But he kind of, yeah. Okay, so has this culture of imposters spread to entertainment and sports in modern day as well? Not just writing in the 1910s in the United States of America. Page 71, he puts down the woman who married Mr. Rathom by saying she had no idea what she was doing. It was like mansplaining. He's a believer that women are not do not have a capacity to understand the man or men they marry. Okay. At page 96, there was a guy named Leon, 31 years of age. I'm 31 years of age, and my last name is Leonhardi, so I was like, I'm going to pull that out because, well, for me, it's timely as of this reading. All right. Page 101. A guy was the Democratic Party nominee for president 1896, 1900, and 1908. That's impressive. You know, nowadays people are do not possess thick skins in politics, United States of America politics. 3 times. They like run once, lose, and then they're done. I'm like, wow, people used to have grit in America. White men. There we go. All right. Page 108. Dedicating the imposter to being bigger than himself. Right, the persona, the name and stuff. Oh, it's got to be bigger than me. I got to make this impersonation scheme, you know, a viable business model. All right, page 113. American public opinion. Oh, the point of writing at his time was truth. Nowadays, and the author makes a good point of nowadays it's like there's something that happened and then people present 5 different reasons why when it was really one reason, and they say they're all equal, but in reality there was only one reason why it happened. So it's like technically that's 80% misinformation under the guise of equal. All right, page, so in that sense it's gone backwards, further away from truth. All right, page 134. He uses the term soulmate for Mr. Rathom and a woman named Florence Campbell, and he even spells it right. Soulmate is one word. Page 150. Oh, I'm doing okay. Okay, page 150. He says the world record in 1915 for the 100-yard dash was 9.375 seconds. Those are fictitious decimal points. Speed sports nowadays are semi-accurate to the 100th or centisecond, which is 0.01. So the last 2 digits there at that point in time were fictitious. Am I going to have to go back into science just to show how inaccurate speed results are through technology? Like, we're going to have some scientists put the 2 swimmers from the 2008 Summer Olympic Games in their place and be like, well, do you ever want the real times? Because the published ones are fictional. Right, so there we go. All right, page 181. Oh, and the guy running the time, or no, this guy was like a writer, but could also run fast, like 10 seconds, 100-yard dash. He was in his mid-40s, 5 feet 7 inches, 135 pounds. Okay, I'm 5 feet 7.5 inches, 132 pounds, but I am not a man, and I'm not in my 40s, I'm in my 30s. Page 181. publishing, conning writers to publish wrong stuff. That's sabotage, right? One form of sabotage is getting people to publish wrong stuff. In the writing industry. Page 202, AUS. So people who do this and forget the A for United States of America, are they really just promoting Australia instead of USA? I read that and I was like, epiphany. All right, page 240. Oh, he talks about a bunch of oral sex stuff. And I was just like, you know, my grandfathers and before them and after them have served in the military, and there was like chemical exposures. Can we address the chemical exposures and like those kind of things? But no, the author fixates on oral sex. Maybe he likes it. Okay, page 267. Oh, even when he dies, Mr. Rathom, he's praised by people. Okay. Yeah. And then at page 297? Page 297 says they started this book in 2004. And I was like, yeah, let me guess. Your hypothesis or thesis is this guy is a Jewish Australian who came to the United States of America. You wrote it back in 2004. There was the 2000 Summer Olympic Games in Sydney, Australia. And you're like, I'm going to wait until they announce Australia is the host of the Olympic Games, which they did in 2021, and then publish the book. It was published in 2022. Yeah. So this is all about timing to coincide with the Olympic Games so people can feel jolly and warm when the Olympic Games in Brisbane come around 2032 of, well, you know who the author's hero is. So there we go. Arsenault idolizes Rathom. There we go. In conclusion, it marked full book number 63 for me for the 2024 year, and I give it 3 out of 5 stars.